Sorry, I don't want to
Yeah, turn it up. On the
Nice. And again.
Hello. How are you all doing tonight? I feel low.
That's his body's short.
Bad idea.
Just adjust our chairs. My laptop's decided it doesn't want to play ball, so lovely.
Just make it up then.
Make it up on the spot. There we go. So tonight, Bonnie and myself will be presenting for you all. If you haven't noticed, we're doing the red belt, and we'll be focusing on self-sabotage and anger. I myself in particular will be focusing on the anger side, and more particular again is self-anger, so being angry with yourself. Yes, please. Who in the room here knows what self-anger is? What is it? James?
Being annoyed or displeased with yourself for potentially something that you've done that's against your own moral code.
Yeah, exactly. I have. Sorry. Yeah, it's just bugging me. I've got here that being angry with ourselves is not from someone else. Well, it can be from someone else, but it's not being angry at someone else, it's being angry, internally, with something that we've done ourselves, and it can lead to... Thank you.
Pre-tested for you, sir.
Did you squeak it?
Yep.
Appreciate that. And it's about when you're in a situation that can make you angry about yourself. So for me in particular, I think about when I first started working, I'd always get frustrated because my boss would always tell me, oh, such a simple task, why is it taking so long? And I started to believe what he was saying in the way that it would just annoy me that I couldn't get this simple task done. It was just, stripping cable, fitting it off, whatever it might be. It was just so easy, but I was getting so angry at myself, thinking that I'm so stupid, I'm so useless, I'm so worthless. I just can't get this simple task done in the time frame that I wanted it to be done. And for me, it was getting angry within myself, and from that anger, I would start destroying myself. I'd start attacking myself, my own self-worth, my own value, feeling like a failure because I just couldn't do this simple task in the time frame that I wanted. And I don't know if anyone here has experienced anger or not, but it's a very potent emotion. It really takes control of how you behave, how you act, how you think. It really just controls your mind, it controls your thoughts, and it can, if left unchecked, it can really cause a lot of damage for those around you. For me, I had to learn, when I was writing this essay, I decided to learn about what anger was, what it really caused it, and especially what caused anger within ourselves. So for me, it was, when I thought about anger within myself, about what made me angry about myself, it was frustration. It was a lack of achievement. It was the feeling that I couldn't succeed in something that made me angry and made me attack myself because I felt like I should be able to do that. I should be able to do that. Everyone around me was telling me that I should be able to do that, but I just couldn't find it in me to achieve that. So I guess tonight I wanted to tell you that, you know, we're only human. We're allowed to make mistakes. We're allowed to have moments of frustration and are allowed to have moments of anger. But it's what we do with that anger that defines us as people.
It's good.
So tonight's about getting your red belt. It's about learning to manage your anger. It's about learning how to deal with it and understanding your own personal anger, what causes it, what physical response you have from it, how you react to anger. All those sorts of things are what I want you to learn tonight. So what is some of your own physical responses to anger? What do you do when you get angry?
Throw things.
Yell or hit something.
Yep, and
I tend to swear.
yeah, Paris?
Take it out on other people.
Yeah,
Isolate myself and take it out on myself.
yeah, Brandon?
Go outside and punch something.
Yeah, Mitch?
The general kind of thing would be to lash out.
Yeah, yep, 100%, all of those things. Yep,
Bite myself.
yeah,
I'm an angry crier.
yeah,
Just cry.
yeah, cry with frustration.
Like to eat.
Like that.
We all do.
Most of the time I like to eat, but especially then.
You're hangry.
Yeah, angry, that's right.
I tend to take it out on my dogs.
No judgment.
Not the Labrador, Holly.
Those poor dogs.
Not the Labrador.
No,
Good.
It's important to know what your physical response is when it comes to anger. It's important to know how you handle your own anger and how you might express it to others as well. Because anger can be damaging. Anger can cause people to, you know, destroy friendships, destroy relationships, or destroy your own mental peace. It can take away what, I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but it can take away from you your sense of security, your sense of trust in yourself, I guess, and trust in others. So when you learn what anger is, when you learn what your own anger is and what causes it, what your limits are, know when you need to walk away, when you need to take a moment and just broaden your perspective on something, it's important just to take that moment, take that time. Phil said something to me a couple of days ago, and it's just stuck in my mind because I thought it was brilliant. He said, get fascinated, not frustrated. And it's just taking that time to understand what it is that's frustrating, taking that time to take it to the next level, just go, okay, I can't achieve this, but why can't I achieve it? What's stopping me? What is the actual problem here? What's causing this frustration within me? Rather than just going, nah, F this, I'm out and sticking a sledgehammer through a car or something. Or whatever kind of limits you want to take it to.
That was a private story, man.
Touche.
I'm not naming names.
He just needs to
It's important to find your own outlets as well, whatever it might be, whether it be hiking, boxing, bike riding, flying planes.
Wonder who that one was for.
Yeah, I don't know. Do something that will help you relax. Do something that will help you free your mind and just refocus who you are. Just to take a moment and just breathe. Just release the tension that's built up from anger. Being angry can make someone explosive. If you're someone that's a seething person, you can take a lot on bit by bit, and it slowly builds up, and there's just one little straw that breaks the camel's back. There's one little bit that just causes you to lose it, and you, as Mitch said, you can lash out. You're just explosive, and that can have damaging effects. It can destroy, like I said, relationships, friendships, yourself, whatever it might be that's around you is going to cop at the wall. Your dogs. You never know what it might be. So you need to really own that know how to control it, because if you can't control your anger, it will control you. So, anger isn't always destructive. Anger doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be a negative emotion. It can be if you let it. It can be if you let it control you. But if you learn to control your anger, if you learn to harness its power, if you learn to rein it in and redirect it into something positive, it can be a powerful and protective emotion. It can be something that helps you stand up for other people. You know, when you see someone getting bullied, anger is what makes you step in. Angry that someone would treat another person like that. Get angry about yourself. You know, oh, I can't believe I did that this way. Why did I make that mistake? Why did I say that to this person? Get angry about that and redirect it into something more positive. Use it to motivate you to be better, to change whatever's happened, to fix any wrongs that might have been done. Use it to your advantage rather than to your demise.
It's good.
What I want to help you with tonight is a way of realising when you get too angry, a way of management, I guess, is I want everyone to clench their fists. Pretend you got 2 lemons in the middle of your hands and you want to get every last drop of juice out. You're going to squeeze them real tight. And just feel how strong you can squeeze and tense and juice. You just can't get that last drop of lemon juice out. Oh, look at those biceps.
Cadillacs, baby, no lemon here.
But when you hold it for a minute, what do you feel? Do you feel sore, tired, limited movement, maybe pain because your muscles start to let go? Pressure, stress. This is what anger does to you. It makes you tense, makes you tight, makes you hold on. It makes it hard to move and it makes it hard to get away. What I want you to learn tonight is that when you get angry, it's important to tense your fists. It's important to close your hands and just take a minute. But it's also important to release that and redirect it. So you got to release, feel that freedom as you feel so limp. Get my groove going on here. And redirect it. Don't let it go forwards and rebound straight back at you and you snap back in the same position. Redirect it into something more positive. Redirect it into the direction that you want to go. Use it to your advantage. Use it to your positive influence. And I just want you guys to focus on that. I want you guys to understand that anger isn't the be-all end-all, but it will be if you let it. It will become your go-to emotion. It will become what rules your world, especially if you don't deal with it. If you don't redirect it, it's just going to bounce back and hit you straight in the face every time. And you're going to lash out. You're going to damage things. You're going to destruct yourself. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt not only you, but the people around you. It's going to hurt the property around you. And it's important to know what damage it can do. It's important to know, is it worth losing all of that because I got angry? Because I decided to not think of the consequences of my actions and lash out. So I decided to punch my fist through a wall and break my hand. Because I decided that I was no longer good enough because I couldn't achieve that thing. I got so angry with myself, that's all I'm ever going to be, is that. Just you believe what you say, and you say terrible things when you're angry.
Yeah.
So, take a breath, take a moment, and just own your stuff. Realise that anger isn't the end. Realise that it's not going to consume you if you don't let it. You control your emotions. You control what direction you want to go. So pick the direction you want to go. Don't let it pick you. So tonight I've shared a bit about anger, a bit about how it might affect us and what it can do to us and others around us. So tonight I'm going to pass over to Bonnie, who's going to share her wonderful insights on self-sabotage and how you could be affecting your own goals and achievements. So, all listen up to her, it'll be amazing.
Good job, Josh. Yeah.
Thank you, Josh. As you said, the result of anger is usually self-sabotage. So that's what I'll be talking about tonight, is self-sabotage. A few of you might know what self-sabotage is. You might know really well what it is. The definition of self-sabotage is behaviour that creates problems in our life that interferes with long-standing goals. Behaviour that creates problems that interferes with our goals. So self-sabotage, it's the result of your behaviour. It's not a problem that's in the way of your goal, it's you. Picture it this way. So you have a pot plant. Imagine that you are a pot plant. 3 things you need to do to maintain this is water it and feed it. You need to keep it in the sunlight, and you need to love and nurture it every day. What would happen if I stopped feeding this?
It would stop.
If I stopped giving it water? What would happen if I hid it in the darkness and I didn't let it see the sunlight? What would happen if one day I got so angry at myself, angry at the world, and I just said, that's it, you know, I give up, I'm pulling it all out, I'm done. What you have left is a pot that doesn't have the opportunity to grow fruits that can be beautiful goals and experiences in our life. You can ask anyone that knows me, and they will say that I'm probably the perfect example to talk to you about self-sabotage. And I see a few smiles. It's still a work in progress. I do it quite frequently, but I'm still working on it. My most frequent self-sabotage was 1 month ago from today. So I've got a month, that's pretty good. The situation was there was mice in my house, mine and Naomi's house. It was gross. I hate germs and mice and all that. And it was all in my stuff, right? It was in my space. Any reasonable person would say, all right, well, I'm going to put trucks down. You know, I'm going to get rid of the problem so I can keep having my goal, which is this house. But that's not what I did. I said, yep, I'm just going to avoid this. You know, maybe I'll move back to Dad's. Maybe I'll start couch surfing again. And someone else had to point it out to me. They said, Bonnie, why don't you just put trucks down? Obvious, right? It wasn't obvious to me. My first instinct was to run the other way. That's because there are 2 main types of self-sabotage. The first one is using a little excuse as an avoidance, as an excuse to go the other way, when there's a simple way to get through it and keep going towards your goal. But instead you just throw away your goal over that one thing, like a mouse. The second is doing behaviour that is taking you in a completely different direction to where your goal is. And then you say, oh my God, I've been working on this goal for a year and I was meant to get it in a week. What is happening? Have a look at your behaviour. Maybe it's something that you're doing.
That's good.
I asked a few people before doing this asset, have you ever in your life self-sabotaged? Every single person that I asked said, yeah, there's been a time in my life where I've self-sabotaged. Put your hand up in the room if you have self-sabotaged in your life. That's like every hand in the room right now is in the air. Because it's so it's such a regular occurrence. And the reason that is because self-sabotage is usually aligned with your self-worth. If you don't believe that you're worth your goal, then why would you fight for it? If you don't think you deserve it, why would you put in time and effort to go for it? When I was looking up, where does self-sabotage actually come from? Like, where is the root of this problem? The result that I found was the voices. Not the crazy voices in your head. They can be at times. When you're growing up and you're most vulnerable and you haven't formed your own voice yet, the people around you and the things that they say to you or the experiences that you're in are what shape your voice. It's not actually your voice. It's the voices of others that turns into your voice. You might be able to relate to a few of these, but these are some things that I heard or I came to the assumption about myself because of a situation. You're not worth my time. You're just a waste of space. You're so lazy. How do you think you're going to get any of your goals when you don't even try? You only care about yourself and no one else around you. Put your hand up if these are some of the voices that you heard growing up. What I've noticed is that every single one of you that put your hand up and said, yeah, I self-sabotage, just put your hand up again.
Oh, that was
Sorry, that was a statement. I'm glad you're paying attention.
That's okay.
That's because it's the voices that surrounded us when we were vulnerable that created it. When I finished high school, and I didn't have a destination, I didn't know where I was going because I didn't believe I was going anywhere. I used to hide in my bedroom. I used to shut the door, shut the curtains so it was just dark. I used to hide under my covers. And every day, I would cry and I would hurt myself, physically and emotionally. Because my whole upbringing, I was taught that I was nothing. That why would I even try to do anything in life if I was nothing and I wasn't worth it? And then I found Bridge Builders. A friend spontaneously invited me to Bridge Builders. Said, oh, just come along, it's a bit of fun. I was like, yeah, all right. And all of a sudden, I was surrounded by light. I was surrounded by these voices and these people that said, Bonnie, we think you're really cool, and can you come in more? We want to spend more time with you because we want to get to know you more. Because the personality that you have is really cool and we need to explore it more. And when you've been trapped in darkness for that long in your life, that tiny speck of light is magnetizing. It's addictive. And I started coming more and more and just surrounding myself by this positivity. And it really, you could see it in my life. I got my license and a car. I moved out of home. This year I'm studying for the career that I want to do. Everything in my life is great. And then a couple months ago, I kept finding these moments where I would stumble along my journey when things were going great, everything was fine, but I'd stumble and say, no, my life's a mess. And then a couple months ago, a very close friend, they said something to me. Something that was like one of those compass points in your life that changes the direction of your life. They said, Bonnie, everything in your life is great. You know, look at where you used to be and where you are now. Your life's amazing and you've worked hard for that. But right now, you are creating your own mess. Ben, when they said that, I was like, oh my God. Took a moment to breathe and get through it. But I realized that the reason I kept stumbling was me. It wasn't anything else. It was myself. And since then, I've made a commitment that I'm not going to keep doing that. I ask you, do you want your life to be better?
Yes.
Do you want to look 1 year ahead from now and picture just pure happiness? Everything in your life is good, you're happy, you got good things in your world. You can have that. You have to choose that. It's the same as what Josh was saying. You need to choose. You need to say, that's enough. These voices in my head, they're not going to win. Because I choose to be better than that. And sometimes these voices, they're like a screw that's screwed into your head. And you keep going, you can change everything in your world, but nothing's going to change unless you start undoing the screw. If you leave it there, it will constantly screw you over. Thanks. So, 3 things for tonight that I want you to get out of what I've just shared. The first one is grab that screwdriver. Whatever it is, maybe it's self-love, self-care, but grab that screw and start unscrewing those horrible voices in your head. Because they're not your voice. You get to choose your voice. You might need someone to help you. And this brings me to step 2. So I don't know if you know much about plants and the gardening world, but there's this thing where if you put 2 plants together, or a specific plant with another plant, sorry, I know I'm annoying everyone by saying plant. That plant will actually inspire and motivate the other one to grow bigger and better than it ever could have. For example, if you put a ginger plant, should have pointed it out, next to a rose, the ginger has something in it that just inspires the rose to grow bigger and better than it ever could have. But it's only those 2 that pair. The garlic ginger can't go next to something else. But there's one special flower called the marigold flower. And you need to remember this word, so repeat it, marigold.
Marigold.
Thank you. The marigold flower has a really special quality to it that you can put it next to any vegetable, any plant, and something in it just inspires the other one to grow bigger and better than it ever could have. There's another plant, I promise this is the last one, the walnut tree. Now, there's a certain toxin in the roots of a walnut tree that will poison any other plant. It will even poison the marigold. So my advice to you with step number 2 is find your marigold. Find that person that's going to plant themselves next to you and say, I got you. We've got this. Together, we can do this. You can do this. But you need to keep yourself and your marigold away from your walnut, your nutty thoughts. Yes, everyone let your giggles out. Come on. Thank you.
I don't know what makes you so funny.
Because it will poison both you and your marigold can't save you from it. So find your marigold. My last bit of advice to you is that picture your life is like these 2 buns. They represent the start and the end of your life. Okay?
I'm still mad.
In between the start and the end, the top and the bottom, you can have some pretty great stuff, pretty great experiences and goals. Bit of lettuce, patty, bit of tomato,
Yuck.
whatever you like in between, right? You have a pretty cool burger here, right? Pretty good.
Don't eat it, fake.
Yeah. But when you allow your anger to get the best of you and the voices in your head, and you say, oh, I'm just so angry. I don't need this.
No, you need that.
I don't deserve this patty.
Yeah, you take that in.
And I'm not worthy of this. All you have left is the start and the end, with nothing in between.
True.
I don't know about you, but I choose to have the whole hamburger.
Bunch of people.
As you go into packs tonight, your pack leaders will be bringing you one of these. Reminder to pack leaders. In here is a marigold seed.
Oh, super cool.
So tonight you can choose with this seed that you're going to change the direction of your life. Tonight, choose. That's all.